At the turn of the century, 1st of July 2000 to be precise, a young girl was abducted and murdered. Her name was Sarah Payne. Somebody was convicted for the murder, and obviously many years have passed since that terrible day. The girl in question was 8 years old, and I find myself very empathic about the whole situation, especially now my daughter is 8 years old. For some reason, tragedies that have befallen other people at certain ages that my daughter is presently at, I find them very moving, and I find myself, not obsessively, but occasionally I will research things that have happened to children at that specific age. There was a gravestone in the village that I left at the beginning of the year dedicated to a 5-year-old child who succumbed to meningitis in 2011, I believe. And 5 years old, tragic story. And I found myself very drawn towards paying my respects to that particular area where that child's body is buried, all through my daughter's 5th year on this planet. Can't explain why, it just is what it is. But something occurred to me about the murder of Sarah Payne. In 2014, her father, who since the loss of his daughter, the brutal murder of his daughter, I'm not going to downplay the gravity of this situation, I need to say it as it is and say it as it was. His marriage failed, and as his kids put as an epitaph to him, that he had his demons, and quite obviously so, and for very good reason. He died an alcoholic. He was found dead in his house back in 2014, I believe. And today I researched his name. I actually made a video back in 2014 at the time of his death, that expressing that the media had said very little about this man, and I thought it very strange, considering the gravity of the whole situation that had befallen that family at the turn of the century. I thought it was very strange that the media more or less ignored his tragic death. If you search his wife's name, you discover Sarah Payne, MBE, and all the wonderful work that she's done. But if you search Michael Payne, her husband, the man who died in 2014, there is next to nothing. He seems to have lived a life, and with regards to this multimedia age, seems to have been forgotten. And I think that it's a tragedy and a crime. Who's to say what would have happened had his daughter not been brutally murdered? But I do feel that his life probably wouldn't have been cut short at 45, with his personal life in ruins, and suffering the rigours of alcoholism. There is something very wrong with a world that differentiates between two people, seemingly based on their gender, who went through exactly the same situation and held hands during exactly the same tragedy that had befallen their God-forsaken family at that point in time. Anyway, there's not much reason to this video, except just to, 5 years on after his death, just to say, and just to have something out there that's remembering a man who had his life taken away from him, as far as I'm concerned, and a man who lost everything, ultimately couldn't hack it. Cheers.